Baldur's Gate 3 has some encounters which by most people are considered extremely difficult, but at the top of this list sits one fight, the Ketheric Myrkul one. Ask most people and this fight is bar none the hardest one. So this got me thinking, what if I were to take this beautifully constructed and balanced game and completely turn it on its head by turning every single enemy, no matter how weak or how strong, into Myrkul? Would it even be possible to beat? Today we are finding out if you can beat Baldur's Gate 3 when every single enemy is Myrkul. What could possibly go wrong? Quickly, some rules. Since every enemy is going to be Myrkul, I feel like just walking around talking to people for XP is not really a fair thing to do. And while I could kill enemies before the fights even begin to prevent them from transforming in the first place, that is not really fun either, so none of that. Huge thanks to SlimX for putting together this mod for me. This video would not have been possible without him. Make sure you go check him out, he does some really cool stuff. With that out of the way, let's begin. So, today we're doing something a little bit special. For obvious reasons, I am not gonna play in Honor mode, I am gonna play in Tactician, and you're gonna see why very soon. I haven't thought too much of what I'm actually gonna play, but I mean, Karlach is always good, right? So, since I have tried every challenge under the sun at this point, I figured that it would finally be time to try something a little bit new. Today we are playing Baldur's Gate 3, but every enemy is Myrkul. This will definitely be completable, yeah. I have zero doubts. I just realized that this is a big problem right away. How am I gonna get past the first encounter? Wait a second. Am I not just dead? Okay. Yeah, this is why we're not doing Honor mode. There's gonna be a lot of game overs going around. What could I possibly... There's 3 Myrkuls in the first fight because there's 3 imps, right? I need to get far enough away from them. I'm gonna double dash. I can dash again here. I should have triple dash. What happens if I just try to run, right? Like if I just run back... And that still hit me somehow. Okay, let's try to run the other way. I can almost make it up the ledge. Sadly, running would not work, and this fight already was really problematic, as the AoE on Call of the Damned is so big that I couldn't escape it. Karlach was clearly not working, I needed a better plan. Okay, so the only way I can think of getting off the Narloid is by starting Wizard and doing some wall jump shenanigans. So if I'm starting Wizard, I can either go for the Dark Urge, but honestly, I think I'll just start Gale. There's one item which she gets access to which I think might really help this run. Come with me, us. We're about to do some shenanigans and jump through the wall. Basically, we jump here. We move our camera over, we dash, and then we spam jump and just jump straight through the floor. Oh my god, I jump straight through the wall, just like that. And I'm still dead to Myrkul being. But this should be doable, right? I'm pretty sure you can roll higher initiative. So I roll 6 and he rolls 8. Okay, this might take a few reloads. Nice. People that actually have HP, like this guy, yeah, they're quite tanky now. And they seem to keep all of their resistances too. It's gonna be a long while before I'm able to take any sort of fight, isn't it? Okay, well, I dashed prior to going in here, so if I dash again, I should be able to, if I walk over to this exact spot, just jump on over to the end. The Myrkuls in the background. Maybe I can just beat up Shadowheart. Oh god, hi Shadowheart, you look a little bit different today. Fair enough. Since I couldn't just take the normal route, as it was guarded by 2 Myrkuls, I had to sneak my way up this ledge to at all get over to the grove. I'm just gonna run in for the sake of it, but I'm just gonna get completely demolished here. Oh my, at least we're rallied. Oh, big 12 damage. And here I go, bye. They only had like 1,000 combined HP, so I'd say we got pretty close there. I think I'm just gonna have to leave for this one. There's no way around it. We just leave. Will is owning. Maybe I'll just spectate a bit. Oh. Now, while I was able to sneak past the grove, collect my first tadpole, and even make it all the way over to Joaquin's Rest, thanks to some sneaky movement, I still had no way of fighting the Myrkuls, and thereby basically no way of getting any XP, as I was still level 1. By running around, I could get level 3, but after that, the exploration XP was basically gone, so like in many of these challenge runs, the first task would be to gear myself out, starting by heading over to Asterion and into the grove. Oh, I see. They won. Looks like they don't plan on entering though, so maybe I can just jump past them. I'm also gonna make sure that I save the child here, because I do want the Ring of Protection. So I should just be able to steal this and then leave. Yeah, that still works. Then we just give this to Mole, and there's the Ring of Protection. So my plan is to speak with Nettie here, as she will cause a certain someone to appear over at the Blighted Village. This certain someone is Raphael, and by speaking to him with Gale and then swapping over to Asterion, we can shoot him, causing him importantly to disappear before leaving for the mountain pass. So I'm just barely level 3, and this is where Raphael shows up for the first time. Because I'm level 3, we can head on over to our dear friend Withers here. Now I can swap over to El Druid and pick up Silence. And if I cast it here, we should be able to just go ham at Raphael without him fighting back. Always my favorite part, beating Raphael with a stick for 10 minutes. Oh, I need to make sure to turn on non-lethal attacks here too, so I don't forget. Alright, that's how you get the best armor in the game. While this armor would help with survivability immensely, as I'm sure you can understand, it still is nowhere near enough to even beat a single Myrkul. No, the item I needed was all the way over in Act 2. I need to get past these guys, so I'm just gonna put down a smoke cloud and then jump past them, I think. Excellent. Alright, second time's the charm. Are you... Now we jump here. You just jump into the fog cloud. It's not that hard. Why? Try number 58. Here we go. There you go. That wasn't that hard now, was it? Act 2. So I'm gonna do another little trick here just to get the lantern. But for that we need command, which means swapping over to cleric. 45%. There you go. Now we're gonna move this over to his moon lantern. We're gonna open the basket, and then if we drag the moon lantern into the basket, they won't mind at all. Then we dash away. If we just wait, they should just run away. There you go. And now we can collect the moon lantern. With the moon lantern, now in Act 2, I easily could just walk straight over to Moonrise. But one problem still remained. How could I possibly kill any Myrkuls? Well, despite getting completely annihilated during the few encounters that I had been unfortunate enough to face them, I had noticed one interesting thing. Since Myrkul is not immune to necrotic damage, but rather just resistant to it, every single time a Myrkul uses Call of the Damned, it would very slightly damage the others. This meant that if I somehow could just survive long enough, they would eventually all kill each other. There's an obvious problem with this though. How can I possibly live through tens of rounds tanking a spell as strong as Call of the Damned every turn? Well, that answer lies in Balthazar's chambers. Since I am playing as Gale, after opening Balthazar's secret room, we can find this altar on the table. If any character that is not specifically Gale tries to interact with it, nothing will happen. However, Gale specifically gets the option here to create the Shadow Lantern. I swear all my runs just somehow lead back to this lantern in some way. This lantern just so happens to come with a very special summon of its own, a Shadow Wraith. Firstly, it cannot be moved or shoved by anything, meaning that if any Call of the Damned is used, it will simply remain in the same position. Secondly, while being obscured and moving in any way, it will turn invisible until revealed. Importantly though, Myrkul actually always has 0 movement speed, so by just standing a bit away, this means that as long as I just keep in the shadows, none of the Myrkuls will even be able to target it. And finally, and also most importantly, it comes with complete necrotic immunity, meaning that it is immune to anything that the Myrkuls can do outside of melee range. When you first think about it, this seems to just trivialize the entire playthrough, but sadly it's not gonna be quite so easy. While it makes the run at all possible, there are a few combat encounters in the game which 100% requires the main character to participate. But for now, I could finally start getting some XP. The Grove is saved, guys. May have taken a bit longer than usual, but I did it. Okay, here goes nothing. Let's hope my shadow is ready, cause that's quite a few Myrkuls. Wow, I expected it to be effective, and I expected it to work, but I did not think it would work quite this well. After Moonrise was basically emptied, I decided that it would be time to run over and attempt the Gauntlet of Shar. Before entering though, I made sure to open this chest here as it contains the Vivacious Cloak, a very important item we will come back to shortly. Inside of the Gauntlet, I was easily able to use the exact same method as in Moonrise to reach Balthazar. Interestingly, after merging the fight with him, since he technically is not considered an enemy, he does not actually turn into a Myrkul. So, sadly for him, this fight didn't exactly go well for him. I wonder why the Myrkuls didn't cast Call of the Damned there. That's strange. Maybe if I just aggro them again, they will? Might as well try it, right? They do cast it this time. That's very interesting. Thank God for this summon, man. I have no idea how I would do this otherwise. Just look at this. It's completely ridiculous. Boom. Okay, time to loot this. How the fuck am I gonna loot this? What the fuck is this, man? As I was now finally getting some levels, it was time to figure out what build I was actually going to go for. As long as you stay out of melee, Myrkul only has two ways of hurting you. These being Call of the Damned and Gaze of the Dead, both dealing pure necrotic damage. Interestingly, both of these spells can be saved, and if done successfully, will half the damage they deal. I could already get +2 to saving throws by equipping the Ring of Protection and the Safeguard Shield, but this was nowhere near enough. So instead, it was time to scale my saves to the moon, starting off by stealing the entire inventory from Quartermaster Tally over at Last Light. She has two very nice items, these being the Cloak of Protection for another +1 to AC and saving throws, but more importantly, the Shade Clinger's armor. It has the effect of giving us advantage on all saving throws while obscured. This is really good, but it would not be worth sacrificing 9 AC and the -3 damage taken from everything. Thankfully though, this armor is designed in a very dumb way. After equipping the armor, you don't just get advantage on saving throws. No, instead, you just get a buff which lasts until long rest that does the same. And it just so happens that if you unequip the armor, the buff remains. This meant that all we had to do was just equip it once and then swap back, and we will still have advantage on all saving throws. I guess I might as well just get all the XP from Last Light while I'm here. So let's go up to Isabel and then purposely get her to die, hopefully before me. I'm so dead. I need her to die like right now, like yesterday now. I think I can tank one more Call of the Damned. 3 health. Okay, that was way too close. Uh-oh. Well, I'm gonna leave, and good luck, Jaheira. Oh, Jaheira died. With the sheer amount of people in Moonrise, the Gauntlet of Shar, and Last Light, I was already almost level 6. And so, in order to get the final XP, I decided to take out one of the Thorns. Or, well, my shadow did. Never have I thought about the fact that if Myrkul and a random shadow got into a 1v1, the shadow would win every time. I wonder if I can still absorb this Shadow Weave here, even though it's a Myrkul corpse and not like the normal one. Nice, it still worked. Somehow. Minthara should hopefully still be in the basement here, because she has an item on her. Let's see if this works. I'm gonna hide myself away in this corner here, and then just hit one of the guards with my shadow. And hopefully it should start combat with Minthara. Perfect. Now just gotta wait, and she should die. Just gonna pick up the boots of striding I wanted. As long as I'm concentrating on something, they should prevent me from getting moved by Call of the Damned. And there's one more item I need back down in the Gauntlet of Shar, so let's just grab it now, I guess. There it is, the Dark Justicar helmet for another +1 to saves against spells and +1 to constitution saves. All I need now is a way of getting necrotic resistance, which I guess I could just drink a potion, but honestly I kinda want to use that for a Hill Giant strength potion for the extra saves. I do have another idea though. This skeleton right here, there it is. True Lover's Embrace. And this one should be the other one. Okay, time for a cool trick that I'm sure some people know about, but most shouldn't. So if I start by dropping this other ring I bought from Val on the floor and then interact with it using my summon, it will equip the ring. Then I can simply equip the True Love's Embrace on myself and swap them from the Shadow's inventory. Just like that, my Shadow has Gentle Warding Bond, which gives me resistance to everything, but also reflects the damage I take back to the Shadow. Theoretically though, since it is immune to necrotic damage, it should completely nullify this. Shadow took 0 necrotic damage redirected from Gale. It actually works. That is so good. I think we're almost ready to finally fight some Myrkuls ourselves now. I just need to do another respec. Since all I really needed was more defensive layers, the obvious choice was naturally Abjuration Wizard with their arcane charges. But importantly, at level 1, before speccing into Wizard, I put the first level into Sorcerer. Specifically because it gives us access to Armor of Agathis, one of the best Abjuration spells in the entire game, while also granting us proficiency in Constitution saving throws, for eventually at least another +4. The rest of the levels I simply put into Wizard, picking Abjuration Wizard at level 2 and making sure to pick up Protection from Evil and Good, as it gives all the Myrkuls disadvantage against us, and Darkness, alongside medium armor proficiency, just so I can actually use all the equipment I've picked up thus far. Since we have 5 levels into Wizard, we can get 10 arcane charges, and thus, as long as we succeed the saving throw, which we should considering the amount of equipment we have for it, can now easily nullify a top-rolled Call of the Damned and Gaze of the Dead. I do still need some strength pots, so let's go pick them up from Ethel. Just gonna steal this, don't mind me. You reminded me, okay, I guess we're fighting. I like how she's still like emoting and moving while being a Myrkul. But she actually left. Alright, real Ethel time. Save Mayrina. Yeah, I don't know about that one, game. I don't think Ethel can actually use many of her tricks here, so this might be really easy. Wait. Oh, that's so cursed. Oh, that's so cursed. Why is he even emoting? That has to be the dumbest thing I've seen while modding this game. With Ethel dead, there was nothing really left to do other than to simply free the Night Song and head over to face Ketheric. Do I really need level 7 before fighting Ketheric? I don't think so. If this breaks my entire playthrough, then so be it. Here we go, Ketheric time. Oh, I like how most enemies here are just dead already from the previous fights. And as you can see, Ketheric is not actually Myrkul, he's just Ketheric, because the game doesn't really like when you turn Myrkul into Myrkul. This fight really shouldn't have been hard. However, it turns out that when you go all in on defenses, you kinda lack damage. And since these summoned Myrkuls refuse to use Call of the Damned for some reason, I really had no good way of damaging Ketheric. I could deal a solid 1 guaranteed damage each turn, but that would have taken me 100 rounds. Thankfully, I did not only have that option. After just a few rounds, since Myrkul has a really big hitbox, Ketheric had managed to get himself completely trapped on top of the stairs, meaning that I could just peek my head out from behind a pillar each turn. It did still take a solid 5 minutes, but eventually I got Ketheric down low enough to leave, easily letting me take out the rest of the Myrkuls and follow him down into the Mind Flayer colony. I guess I'll just turn invisible and then free Aelin, and yeah, let's just see how it goes. Oh boy, that's a lot of Myrkuls. Oh, and he will summon one each turn as well, of course. But that's actually good for me, because I don't have any real damage if they don't kill each other. So let's just hope that they all will use Call of the Damned, or I'm kind of screwed. Even though I did think I was ready for this fight, there were a few things I had not kept in mind. Firstly, since there are no unlit spots in this arena, my shadow could never turn invisible. This would have been fine if I was not stupid enough to walk it in, but now, since it was standing so close to the action, if a Myrkul ever got summoned next to it, it would just slowly die to melee attacks. To solve this, it was therefore time to cast a darkness spell, as everyone in it counts as being obscured, meaning that the shadow would also get invisibility. Another great thing, which I hadn't even considered till now, is the fact that this meant that no Myrkul could even try to target me with their Gaze of the Dead, as darkness prevents ranged attacks to be made in or out of it. Ketheric was slowly dying, and all I had to do was watch. However, I myself did eventually start getting damaged since my arcane charges quickly ran out. So it was finally time for the cloak I had picked up all the way back in the Gauntlet of Shar to shine. The Vivacious Cloak gives us 8 temporary hit points anytime we use a spell while in melee. This meant that I could walk up to a Myrkul, melee attack it to get back 8 hit points, and then just back off to heal for another on average 6. With 14 extra HP each turn, it was more than enough to sustain the small chip damage I was taking. Finally, okay, phase 2. I don't know how to tell you this, Ketheric, but you are not the first apostle of Myrkul in this playthrough. I do almost have all my spell slots left, which will probably be very necessary here. But this is where the next problem would arise. The bottom part of the arena was slowly filling up with Myrkuls. This did speed things up, which was nice, but there was one problem with it. They all have the Bone Chill aura, preventing anyone close by from healing. Now, while I was easily able to heal and get the temporary hit points during phase 1, with the amount of Myrkuls that would get summoned during the second phase, this would be way harder to do. With 4 new Myrkuls each turn, this also meant that the amount of damage I was taking significantly went up. Ow. Damn, they're actually hurting me a lot. Like, if I'm not careful, I will actually just die here. And as the arena kept filling, less and less space where I could stand without being bone chilled was available. Okay, it doesn't look like Myrkuls are spawning on top of the main platform, so I might try to make my way up there. Only problem then is that my shadow can't follow me here. Just try to go behind him. And this other one should die before it gets its turn. And now, no new ones should spawn up here. And I just need to protect my shadow now, somehow. Wait, there's actually an obscured spot here? I can just put my shadow there then, right? That should work. Please don't kill it. Not even close. I had now finally gotten the perfect setup, as by going all the way to the edge of the arena here, I was just far enough away to stop being bone chilled. So all I had to do now was repeatedly heal myself each turn and make sure to refresh the darkness every 10th turn. Almost there. Myrkul dying to like 100 other Myrkuls. Feels very fitting. Myrkul down and first netherstone acquired. Before leaving here though, I also made sure to go over and loot Isabel's corpse, as she has a set of gloves that gives us another +1 to all saves. Alright. Act 2 finished. Before getting to Act 3, it was of course time for the gift ambush. Here they come. It's the Myrkul trio. I kinda need to roll the highest initiative here, or I think I'll be in some serious trouble. Yeah, this one is not gonna... Let's just try it again. Oh, right, there you go. Now I started. After prepping all my buffs, it was time to help the Emperor, but this fight would by far be the hardest one yet. All in all, it only has 4 Myrkuls, which is nothing compared to the previous several dozens we had faced. However, this fight adds another variable, the Emperor. Usually he is quite capable on his own and will rarely die. Here though, he had no chance and just constantly got dragged about by the Myrkul's spells. At first, it might not sound too bad, just let him die, but if he does, it's an instant game over no matter how healthy you are. So I had a real problem now. I could keep myself alive no problem, but the Emperor would just die in a round or two, and there seemed to be no counterplay. I didn't have enough burst to kill the Myrkuls. I have no damage. Nor did I have any real way of protecting the Emperor, as he constantly would get pinballed around. Darkness did nothing, as he would just get pulled out of it, and to make things worse, he also loved running straight into opportunity attacks every single turn. Oh god, don't get hit. Why? Okay, I need to rethink my strategy severely, because I need some spell that keeps this guy alive, but I don't know what that would even be. Maybe Feign Death? I've never tried it before, but maybe that would be the play here. I can also make a single necrotic potion, since I picked up 3 flowers from Act 2. I guess in hindsight, I probably should have picked up a few more. I tried giving him a necrotic resistance potion, which certainly helped. Still took a tiny bit of damage, but that wasn't too bad. But it was just not quite enough, as he simply loved walking into opportunity attacks too much. Just don't kill yourself, man. Oh my god. No, what are you doing? Why? 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 You're gonna die. Why? You've taken like 120 damage doing that. You literally walked into like 4 of them. What do you mean I have failed you? To prevent him from doing this, I tried putting him to sleep with Feign Death, but since it puts him to sleep and skips his turn completely, he couldn't help with any damage and therefore also eventually died. To win this fight, I had to play perfectly and everything had to line up just right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna Feign Death, haste myself, and then instantly cast Protection from Evil and Good on him, which means that this idiot shouldn't be able to kill himself, hopefully at least. Protection from Evil and Good would actually be a crucial part to winning this, as since it grants immunity to fear, it meant that instead of trying to hurt him, they would focus all their beams straight at me. After a few rounds, he was doing much better than before, but he was still kind of dying, so this is where I decided that it would be time to wake him up. So it's his turn after mine now, so what I think I'm gonna do, drink another haste potion. I'm gonna wake him up. And then I'm gonna throw my necrotic resistance potion at him. I'm also gonna tank the opportunity attack from this Myrkul. Let's see what he does. Okay, that's also good. Damn, he is getting dangerously close to dying still. Can I push him to a location where he's not bone chilled? Nice, he lost bone chill. Okay, that's huge. Now I can throw these 2 at him. Please, man, take out at least one of them. Nice. Okay, huge. And he healed himself. Alright, I got this. This is the try. I'm kind of dying, but you know, it's fine. Whew, okay, 3 tries. That is probably the hardest fight we have to go through in this entire playthrough, I'm gonna be honest. Now in Act 3, there were just 2 more items I wanted to get my hands on. But first, I'd have to go through the South Span checkpoint. And here was the first encounter I would have with a Steel Watch Myrkul. That's a big sword. Holy shit. God damn. Oh my god, it's an absolute bloodbath. Oh god, don't walk too close, guys. Oh no. Just this guy left. As you can imagine, he didn't exactly die quickly. Oh boy, I can't wait till I fight Gortash and there's gonna be like 20 of these dudes. That's gonna be fun. Past that, I could now head into Worm's Rock and collect the final 2 items I wanted. The first one up in Gortash's office, which I easily reached with a single invisibility potion. Wait, it's a 25 check?
Surely there's a spell for this sort of thing.
Oh yeah, there is a spell. There is a spell for it. Thanks for the reminder, Gale. In the chest are the Helldusk boots, basically just a better version of my current boots, as these ones also lets us reroll any failed saving throw once per turn. The second item I wanted was at the bottom of Worm's Rock, and after quickly clearing out the guards, we can enter into the Worm's Way. Most of the puzzles here was the same as in the normal game, that is, until I arrived at the Torch Trial. Here you need to hold this torch, but doing so will unequip our Shadow Lantern and therefore despawn my Shadow shadow. And no shadow means no necrotic resistance, which would have been very bad if not for the fact that I could just use feign death on myself. Now I just had to sit here and wait, hoping that my defenses would be enough, which they were, even though it got a bit close at the end. Completing these trials gives a very generous 5000 XP, so finally we got level 8 and get our first level 4 spells. And one of them will be crucial in completing our next encounter with Gortash. This resilient sphere one. It can be used on anyone, including ourselves, and blocks all incoming damage and spell effects for 3 turns. Skipping past answer, we can also pick up the final item I wanted, the Helm of Baldur. Pretty much just a strict upgrade in every way from our other one. Okay, I think I'm ready for Gortash. Or at least to attempt it. This fight feels like it should be pretty hard, but just like in most playthroughs, at this point we are simply too equipped. Oh my god, that hits everyone in the building, even below. Is it gonna do that every single time? Sure is. I did have to tank some damage during my first turn, as my initiative rolled so low, but due to my defenses, it barely even got through to damage my temp HP. I would not be able to tank it forever though, as my arcane charges were already running low, so to not have to do it, I could simply cast the sphere spell on myself, and for the next 3 turns, I would be completely immune to all damage. During this time, Gortash got brought down low enough to trigger his second phase. Damn, that's a bad Myrkul. Thankfully, while he does get immunity to some damage types, he is still only resistant to necrotic damage. Eventually, the sphere ran out, but now I could utilize another spell which I had had for some time, but just forgotten to use. Blink. At the end of our turn, it rolls a d20, and as long as it's 11 or above, we get sent to the astral plane, making us, for all intents and purposes, completely immune to all damage. This buff lasts for 10 turns, so even though it is unlikely to work all the time, it still does work a lot. I got very lucky and had it proc 3 times in a row before it eventually failed. But at this point, most of the Myrkuls had already killed each other until eventually only Gortash remained. Becoming a Myrkul seemed to kind of have broken his AI, as he didn't even attack me, but what he did do was every couple of turns or so refresh his Avatar of Tyranny buff for a new 150 temporary HP. My damage was so low that I couldn't even get through this, so instead it was time to utilize the final property that this super overpowered shadow summon has, Strength Drain. It drains the target of 3 strength for 2 turns, instantly killing it if its strength reaches 0. This is pretty hard to do, as Gortash has a very high 27 strength, but since we have ability drain and bonking him with my lantern does count as a strength attack, by just doing this enough times, it got brought down all the way down to just 7. I could now strength drain him once, wait a turn, haste my shadow, and then do it 2 more times for an atrophy instant kill. Just 1 more netherstone left to collect. Maybe I should go to the Emperor's hideout, because I think there's a +2 saving throw sword there, right? Should be right down here. I think I might have walked into the wrong neighborhood. I'm just gonna go, guys. You enjoy whatever it was you were doing here. I'm just gonna bonk him. I can't be bothered with the dialogue here. Nice, that was easy. And I even got level 9. Cool. The other fight with Dollar was not really harder either. This sphere really just solves this playthrough. With the password, we could now enter the Murder Tribunal, but this fight would at least be a bit interesting. Well, kind of. Almost every single enemy in this fight is completely immune to necrotic damage, which would have made this a real challenge, but sadly the only person we actually need to kill is not. Saravok is only resistant to it, which meant that I could just wait it out again, eventually having him die, and unfortunately you don't need to kill the servants, meaning I could just swoop in, grab the amulet, and then leave. Alright, I'm here, Orin. It's time for our epic final battle. I like how the ball symbol is even a Myrkul. Myrkul's ability to hit everything on the screen kinda just made this encounter easier again. Call of the Dam sorta just kills off all of the cultists that were channeling the ritual in a single turn, letting me quickly just remove her remaining unstoppable charges and then finish her. Okay, we're finally almost done. Right, I always forget, they're not rats, they're Myrkul. Okay, I guess we're just leaving. I turned myself into a mind flayer, and all that was left now was the final battle with the nether brain. That's a tanky Myrkul up front. I like how his entire face is just a spotlight at this point. Using a speed potion, I was able to move up to the Crown of Karsus, but since you can't cast spells while protected by the sphere, I would have to succeed some saves in order to keep concentration. Thankfully, that's exactly what we've prepped for all along. There he is, the final Myrkul. Okay, this should be pretty straightforward. I just fierce perilous stakes myself and then cast magic missiles a couple of times. To not get stunned for an entire turn, I made sure to reuse a speed potion just before it ran out, and then all I had to do was cast magic missile 5 times to finally finish this run. So that's Baldur's Gate 3 if every enemy was Myrkul. Again, a absolutely huge shout out to SlimX. Please go check him out. He makes some really incredible stuff. Thanks for watching as always, guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.